Thank you, everybody, for coming to one of our latest CEEs. We are the Pillars. We are a space dedicated to giving you guys the opportunity to learn about new projects. We ask real questions the right way. We pride ourselves on being tough but fair with everybody that sits in our hot seat. And today we have a particularly exciting conversation that's going to be happening in that it is MegaWorld, which is a game. It's a Web3 game. It's not typically something that we get to sit down and talk about or discuss or speak to, in fact, which is why today you're going to be in unfamiliar territory with the wonderful David, who's going to be hosting the CEE, hence the reason why I'm giving an intro. And it's certainly not as smooth as David's intro. But what is MegaWorld? I'm sure you're asking yourself. It's a Web3 city builder strategy game. It's been around since 2018, which is impressive in this space. And it's been transformed into a virtual multiverse of real economics. So these guys have created a pretty expansive, immersive online player game that is worldwide. It's played worldwide. You can build and create unique virtual worlds. It's across several chains. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to do. It's incredibly dense, but very interesting reading material if you want to take a look at the white paper, which I'm going to throw into the chat in a second. But that's enough from me. Let's have me jump off the stage. I look forward to hearing from Eric, Badger, and David. Let's learn about MegaWorld together. David, good luck.
Thank you, Mad Hatter, for the intro. And also thank you, gentlemen, for coming today. As Mad Hatter already said, it's going to be a different event as per usual, because either we have like Crypto After Dark, where we interview the people directly, like influencers or project founders, and then we also have our CEs, there are AMAs, and usually we talk there to the project leads. But this is a double special event today, because on the one hand it's not Mad Hatter, on the second hand we are talking to an investor and a player of the game, that's Badger and Crypto, and Eric, who is a community manager, a mod, and also I would assume a player. And yeah, please, gentlemen, especially Eric, because it's the first time here up on stage for you. Please introduce yourself for a bit, so that the people in the audience that don't know you get to know you.
Oh, absolutely. First and foremost, thank you very much for having us on the community. Um, Brought some of our guys to come over to see everything that you guys are doing. Really impressive, and look forward to that. A little background on myself. Very good introduction. I am not part of the team. I am a player. I have been playing since the very first day this thing was around in 2018. And I'm one of the larger players in the game and can speak to a lot of the gameplay and a lot of kind of where the game is going. Yes, I am a mod in MCP or in MegaWorld. The actual dev team, I believe, is going to be in chat. You can see them under the MCP logo there, and they may answer some questions as well over just in the chat side. But yeah, absolutely, let's get this thing rolling.
Awesome. And then, of course, the other person on the stage is a familiar face to the Pillars community. It's our most beloved Badger, Justin. Why are you up here on stage?
So I guess as one of the Pillars portfolio partners, I guess I wanted to bring to the community one of the few things that I'm invested in crypto. So I'm heavily in crypto and obviously heavily involved in mining. Aside from that, though, I'm not in that many projects. So I'm very aware of everything that's going on, but I don't jump in that easily. So this is one of the things that I did jump into and wanted to share that with the community.
Awesome. So today we're going to basically take a look at MegaWorld from the perspective of two people that are invested and also enjoy and love to play the game. So I'm very excited to hear your thoughts about MegaWorld. I mean, Badger already gave me a quick introduction, and I've also looked through all the documentation. But I have to say, I mean, like as you guys already probably know that have looked at MegaWorld, it's quite extensive, right? So the game is in the way it works and what it does. I think quite self-explanatory. It's like one of those tycoon games where you build up assets and you build the city. But there are very many different intricate details. But yeah, maybe Eric, can you give our community a quick introduction to what MegaWorld is?
Absolutely. One of the interesting things was I met Badger over there, I believe on Vosk, was reaching out to him for different miners, etc., and had talked about kind of play to earn, etc. And the possibility of mining crypto. I almost look at it as mining crypto. It's an alternate
Mm.
way of mining crypto, as you receive crypto for different actions in the game. If you don't mind, I've got just a quick little slide deck, 5-6 slides to kind of illustrate a little bit of that, and that'll kind of give the broad scope. I won't dive too much into the gameplay and bore everybody with that, but really want to show the broad scope of play to earn. Is that all right with you?
Sure. But also, can you then please also explain what's happening on the slides for the because we're also recording this, so like we're only
Absolutely.
voice recording. Perfect. Thank you for the
I'm gonna
listeners for this.
see. Let me pop this up real quick. Let me know if you can see that on the slide deck. Are you guys able to see that?
It's trying to come through.
Yes, same for me.
It's just like crypto. You got to click and wait.
Click and wait. Rocking. Can you see it now?
It's
Oh,
it's still loading for me as well.
but I'll give it a couple minutes. Really, the gist of it is I'll kind of talk through the first slide here. Hopefully, it pops up. Let me know if it does. First thing is, it's basically just a graph of where gaming started, right? Back in the Atari days, and a graph that shoots all the way out to the right, where blockchain gaming is set to be, a fourth of all gaming vectors from mobile, blockchain, PC, and console gaming. So, $67 billion industry in blockchain games, and really a lot of that started in that 2016 era. So
Mhm.
MCP is about 5 years into this, and in the crypto space, that is almost an eternity, right? For a game to last. Has that been able to pop up yet? That graphic?
I think people in the audience can see it, but I cannot see it. I don't know why it's not loading in for me.
Yeah, just talk through it.
No, absolutely. I'll just kind of talk through it. MCP, or really this game, why we call it MCP, the game started out as MegaCryptoPolis branding
Mhm.
all the way back in 2018, and since then has evolved into a SimCity type builder game, right? So if you're a fan of SimCity back in the day, very similar, but with cryptocurrency, and has rebranded since then to MegaWorld, which includes, I would almost call it like The Sims, right? A first person
Mhm.
version of that city that you built. You're running around in that first person view. I think that's probably the best way to describe it.
And so yeah, but the game is split up in basically three game modes, right? That you have. You have your the delivery mode, which is the most recent mode that came out, right? And then you have the strategy and the builder mode. Can you give a quick overview of what these game modes, how they're played, and maybe even how you can make money with that?
Absolutely, it's a great question. So, really, the 2018 version of MegaCryptoPolis started in what we are now calling Mega World Strategy. And in this game, essentially, what you're doing is buying land plots, right? And on
Mhm.
these land plots, which are NFTs, you're building buildings. So there's an entire ecosystem or materials market inside of the game. So in order to make a residential building, for example, you need wood, metal to construct that building. Those
Hmm.
materials are in turn made in a industrial building. Inside of the strategy, there's probably 8, 9 building types. Each one of these building types produce a different resource, be it breeding citizens, creating materials, restoring stamina for these citizens. There's even a building type called an office that earns passive cryptocurrency or mega.
Hmm.
Yes, that's my favorite. So that's when I first got into the game. The first thing that really attracted me to it was when I was digging in and I saw the offices, and I'm like, well, these are just miners essentially. So to me,
They're like little nodes, right? In a way.
yeah, to me, I turned it into mining. So that's basically what I did when I got into this. So
It's interesting. So you guys, I mean, for the people that don't know Vosk, I mean, Voskan is a huge YouTuber that is covering specifically everything that's related to mining. So it's kind of funny that you guys have met there and kind of found your love for the game through that, and now are viewing it from the mining perspective. This game, which was one of my questions, just generally, like did this game talk to you just from the investment perspective first, or did you just or did it speak to you from the gaming experience?
So I'll go first because I'm the newest to it. So I've been playing for about a year and a half. And I guess it attracted me first for the mining part of it, but then the more I got into it, the more like you said, there's a lot of intricacies to it. There's a lot of nuance to it. So there's a lot of different avenues that you can go to try to make money. So you can take those resources that you produce and you can sell them on the market, or you can take those resources and you can build a bigger building and then maybe try to sell that building, or you can sell more resources because now your building's bigger and can produce more. Um,
Hmm.
it's all intertwined. It all works together, and that's what I love, and at the same time hate about this game. So it's a love hate relationship for me. So,
But so basically, like as I understood it, so that it's just maybe also understandable for the community. You have the strategy game that is literally you construct something, you buy plots, you buy buildings, you produce materials, you sell those materials. You can buy new stuff, you can buy new factories. So you're basically upgrading and building your factories, your little business you're building up, right? Then you have your builder game where you are customizing buildings, which is, I think, not the main source of revenue that for most of people making the money through the strategy game. And then you of course also have the express game that also Badger showed me when we were on a call a couple of days ago, where you are walking through the city and fulfilling deliveries, either by foot, or even if you have like funds to buy vehicles, you can drive around, and then those you fulfill for basically for the people that have set those deliveries out in the strategy game of it, right?
So yeah, let me jump on that. So I am
Yeah.
learning that the viewers can see the some of the graphics that I've got. It's just hard for us as speakers to see it. Um,
Oh.
Jumping over to MegaWorld, with the express delivery portion. So again, I've kind of highlighted the builder strategy. Now we're moving on to the latest. I would call it in essentially demo mode. Or I mean, this is extremely early. Right now they're calling it closed alpha. Getting ready to open up the alpha of MegaWorld. What this is an opportunity or a very new onboarding technique where players can walletlessly enter the game and essentially run around doing these deliveries. And everything is tied together. So keep in mind, you're not just running around in a make believe city. These are actual buildings. Every one of these buildings has everybody's blood, sweat, and tears built in, and years of materials, money pouring into this actual decentralized city, right? So now you're running inside of these buildings. And this is what I would liken to the Sims portion of SimCity, meaning you are in that first person view. And really cool is the play to earn portion of that, right? So, again, somebody that doesn't want to invest anything, just wants to see what the game is like. You can run around and I would say it's very much in demo mode, the express delivery portion, but you can actually earn crypto that you can exchange for on the major exchanges, Pancake, Uniswap. 1, 2, 3 mega deliveries. Each delivery takes, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes. You can earn cold hard crypto without any investment. What the idea is, it's an onboarding technique, and this also ties into the earlier mentioned strategy portion, because you're wondering, where does this mega come from, right? It's not just coming out of thin air. So players in strategy mode are essentially putting out a bounty on their building, right? So let's say I'm owning a smelter, which is an industrial that creates wood and metal. I want to boost production of that building, and so that I can create more materials to sell on the market or to build faster. So I put a 1 to 3 mega bounty on that, and you are now crowdsourcing from express delivery to come and essentially fulfill that mission. So you're paying this bounty, and it behooves that owner of that building to do so, because now they are getting a boost in production on their materials at a less expensive cost. Rewinding just a little bit, there's lots of ways to earn money in this game. I'm just describing a few of them.
But
On
what
the
is before we go there? I want to ask something in the
Go ahead.
in regards to the express delivery. So you said you can earn money. What does that mean? Like, how much actually? Like, what are the amounts that you could earn for doing a 3 to
Absolutely.
5 minutes delivery? And can you actually make this like an actual job to you, or is this just, as you said, maybe just an onboarding so people get a couple of crypto and maybe want to invest then later on into the game?
That's a great question. We've actually had a few players. It depends on how much time you want to spend on it, right? And it depends on the mechanics, and the mechanics are continuously being developed. MCPs here in chat somewhere, and they're continually to develop. Really, what this amounts to is, in strategy mode, collection costs currently 2 to 3 mega for that building that I mentioned that makes the wood and the metal, right? If I add a few mega, I can in turn produce more materials. To specifically answer your question, how much can you earn? It really depends on what MCP does as the collection method. So taxes are raising. What that means is it's more beneficial for the strategy players to raise their bounty as the taxes are increased. So this mega world is kind of merging into strategy at this moment. And to, again, not avoid the question, but specifically answer it, the current setup right now is between 1 and 3 mega is what you're earning. Currently, market value of mega is very, very, very undervalued, I would say. This is
12 cents.
it's about 11 cents, give or take, 12 cents. Um, this is the longest running, oldest game in crypto that nobody's ever heard of. And that's what we're trying to do, is get the word out there.
Okay.
Uh, so, so for a 5-minute jog, you'll probably earn 20, 30 cents. So it's dependent on you. We have had a couple players, they've earned over 1,000 mega. This is over the, you're not going to, it's not fun to sit there and run around for forever and ever, but, you do it for an hour at a time, play around a little bit. They actually have earned enough to start, again, with zero investment, to start actually buying plots and jumping into the strategy. There's a couple cases like that, or a few cases like that, and basically start from absolutely nothing. So absolutely is an option.
So, and is this then also a question of supply and demand? Like, I mean, you were touching on it a bit, that the game is already 6 years old, and you could have more hype than you especially during that amount of time. So, for example, an express delivery, if let's say the game is quite hyped and deliveries are getting, are you then competing with other strategy players to get your deliveries out there? So, do you maybe have to raise your mega tokens like the bounty, so that your delivery gets picked instead of Badger's delivery, for example?
Yeah, I mean, you already kind of see that with the locations. So you spawn in like some main districts, and those main districts, just because of where they're located, don't really have to increase their price a ton. But those districts that are farther away have to incentivize people to travel farther to them.
Mm-hmm.
So there definitely is that sense of competing with each other, especially with Eric.
And that's why you, Badger, are having your kids run around through town.
Yes. Oh, so I didn't. Okay, I didn't even get into like one of my favorite parts of this. So one of my favorite parts of this game is my daughter, who's 11, or she's 12 now. So she's 12. Don't tell her I said that. So she has her own little desk, her own little setup here, right behind me. So when Saturday morning comes or at night during the week, she'll come and sit down and I'm like, "What, are you gonna play the game?" And she says it's relaxing to just kind of run around the map and collect mega.
It's
So she's got a
child
nice
labor, Justin.
little haul of mega.
I mean, it sounds fun. I mean, you hanging out with your girl in the office, right? And she's doing some crypto and also learning a bit about crypto, I would assume as well, right? While doing it,
Yeah,
in a
yeah. So
way.
she was actually like, I said, do you want me to give you like dollars for your mega? And she's like, no, it'll probably go up, so then it'll be worth more. Yeah, I was like the proudest dad in the world. So
And, Badger, you're bringing up a really good point. This is, I would say, we're not able to see the graphs and stuff that I've got up here, but the community is really. This is, like I said, the biggest game that nobody's ever heard of. Our job to push it out there to folks. What I've got up here is 5 years of sustained growth, showing the layer two contracts up to I think we're upwards of 5 million transactions now happening, and it's showing sustained growth in the amount of transactions that are happening. So uh, clearly the game is growing, and lots of opportunities to earn mega. I wouldn't doubt that this game could run up into the dollar 50 a coin type of scenario with the right boosting out there.
May I just ask? I mean, you have mentioned it twice now that it's like the game is 6 years old and um, people barely know it. Why do you think that is, and how did the game get to this spot? Do you think?
So that's a great question. I would push that over to MCP. Their stated strategy inside of the game, I would say they're the smartest. Very very smart at developing, not the greatest in communications and spreading the word. Their take up until now has been we don't have a game to market. They want to come out with a finished product that's ready to rock and roll. The community's argument is we very much have a very robust economy, and the strategy mode has been working, running for all of this time. They want to polish the MegaWorld and the onboarding, and I look at games like Decentraland, Sandbox, other city builder type games, and nowhere near the complexity, I would say, of this game. I mean, I joke and say, some PhD economists could write a thesis on this game. That's how complex this economy and market is inside the game.
Good that you touch on the economy side of it. Like, I mean, I also don't want to bore bore the audience and make it too economy focused, but I think it's quite interesting that you have with MegaWorld a little a little tiny ecosystem where you're basically not like everything is being not controlled, but someone could control the economy in the sense of supply and demand. And then you also have, of course, you have municipal buildings, residential buildings, you have citizens and whatnot. From the economy standpoint, what do you think is the most, how would I say it? The most biggest, like, or the biggest difference in that economy that you would see to a, let's say, a real world American economy? I was very curious to ask that question because I'm not sure if it's a bit weird, but I think uh, after 6 years of time, I think there has been so much data collected that you can look at this and see like, okay, this has been working and this hasn't been working.
No, 100%. I mean, it boils down. This is and it caters to a lot of different player types, right? So initially, the strategy game uh, worked or really pushed towards the spreadsheet, trying to, the mathematicians out there, those folks. And, the express delivery has kind of moved into the TikTok generation and the social type transactions. And it's trying to merge those two worlds. To answer your question as well, supply demand is the biggest portion in strategy. It's supply demand from even just as simple as the tokenomics, right? So you can play this game and earn crypto just by speculating on the price of Mega, right? Buy low, sell high type scenarios. So it's not just a buy low, sell high. It's also how can I? It's a game of efficiency. How can I be the cheapest to produce a certain material? You can look at there's an entire newspaper devoted to how much supply of this material is out there, how much demand is out there, price fluctuations, and heck, you can even get into the game and again not have any buildings, buy materials low, sell materials high. Um, each world has a separate economy. So this is on the Tron blockchain, Ethereum blockchain, and BNB blockchain. BNB being Binance being the newest. And each of them, one is a mature market, which is Ethereum. Lots of heavy development over there, while Binance is a very junior economy. Um,
Mhm.
and just the different ways that you can strategize for buying and selling these materials and producing um, creates that robust marketplace, right?
Mhm. Is there, I mean, especially with the game that has been going for that long, right? And people already have been growing their assets, growing their productions, and all of that. Is there maybe a situation where sometimes like the small people that are just coming fresh into the game get a bit overpowered by the old OGs in terms of supply and demand? Because I would assume the earliest people are probably producing the most amount of resources or components in the game.
Oh, great
Yeah,
question. And
so they definitely
go ahead, Patrick.
produce. Yeah, they definitely have a leg up the OG players, I would say,
Mhm.
in the game. I think that also goes to what you were talking about before and how this game's been around a while, but just hasn't really picked up or been adopted. I
Mhm.
think the barrier to entry has been high to get into this game. You needed a couple $100 to just to play to see if it was something that you'd be interested in. And now you don't with this express delivery. It's free to play, it's free to get in, and it's free to earn. So
Mhm.
I think that's what the difference is this time with this update.
And piggyback on what you're saying there, Badger, is different levels of building. So it's all time driven, right? So it's every time somebody joins the community, ask them the very same questions. What is your measurement of success, right? What is it at the end of the day that your goal is to get out of this? Hey, I want to bring in X number of crypto, and I want to yield this crypto. So what's the fastest path to that? And everything is a time base. So level one takes 7 days to create a material, while a level 7 takes 1 day to create the material. Yes, you can earn absolutely in a level 1 industrial building in the Binance chain. Costs about 1 mega to produce, and you can sell that on the market for, well, I don't know, 20, 30 mega. So you've got a 20, 30x, what it costs to produce versus what it is. It just takes 7 days. So if you want to sit there for 7 days, stay with your level 1 strategy. If you want to speed up a little bit, then it's a kind of a pay to play type of scenario, and you're gambling on the market, and how that work, how that can produce materials quicker.
And so, because Badger already touched on it, with the barrier of entry, let's say I want to get started with the strategy game, right? I mean, as you also have mentioned, Eric, there are like multiple layers to it, right? In the way you want to play it. I mean, I would assume you could either maybe just be a real estate mogul, right? And just buy land of plots and hopefully flip them later. You could probably just maybe also focus on one resource and just go heavy on producing that. But let's say I'm just your average player. How would I get started? How much would it, let's say, in an average would cost me, and when can I see my first return?
Yeah, let me hit that. So I guess the coin that is that governs the game and is bought and sold inside of the game is it's the mega token.
Hmm.
Um, Really, where the game begins, it's as simple as buy a land plot. You need to buy some initial materials, right? So you need the wood, sand, metal, and you build your first building, right? That cost right there on the Binance chain, somewhere around uh, 0.15 in materials. So I get a couple citizens and off you go. Um,
Hmm.
a true good start, and honest opinion, you're probably in the 2 to 3 BNB. So you're currently sitting at, so I don't know. Let me see what it's sitting at. It just
BNB
finance
is
came
jumping
down
up and
quite
down.
a bit. We're sitting at 500. So, a good $1,000, $1,500 will get you a good start. Recommend starting in industrial and working your way up through the levels of the buildings.
And that's in
Um,
strategy, just to be clear.
that's in strategy mode. And
Mhm.
then, as I mentioned, there's a lot of different ways to earn. There's not just the strategy, but again, just speculating on the coin. There is inside of right now they have a few million, 2 million mega coin out there on the over the counter purchase opportunity. I would
Mhm.
I would recommend to look at the MegaWorld website. Don't look at any other websites. Look at megaworld.io for all that information. Some great, uh, if you see this game going forward and it already has a long, strong history. Um, if you see this and want to speculate on the coin, that's one of the best opportunities out there to do so, and get these at either sub market rates or at market rates with zero slippage, and see where this thing goes. Um,
How
Good
reliant
opportunity.
is MegaWorld or the Mega token on fresh capital? I mean, the way I understood it is, of course, it's a token that sits actually inside of the game. So the utility comes from the game itself, right? But is there any new fresh capital needed that has to come in, or is it in a way self-sustaining?
I would say very much self-sustaining. So every action in the game requires mega. It's kind
Hmm.
of a mega in, mega out type scenario. So in order to build a building, you need mega. In order to collect from a building, you need mega. Every action is then distributed amongst the uh, different categories, right? So you have a district owner, you have a global fund, which offices draw from, and the idea is that each one of those transactions self-sustains the game, right? So
Hmm.
these funds, the global fund and the local fund, again, are created through all of the transactions that happen within the game, from collections, building, stamina boosts, etc.
Mhm.
That answer your question?
Yeah, no, no. So just to wrap my head around it, it's or to see if I understood it. Let me let me maybe summarize it. So basically, when you start, and for every transaction, you need Mega. So me as a fresh player, I would have to purchase some of the Mega tokens, right? In order to buy resources, my first couple of resources, to buy maybe also the land or maybe a building. So I would need Mega tokens for that, right?
That's exactly it. There's a few nuances in
Okay.
there. Land is all in the native currency, so being Ethereum, Tron, or
Mhm.
Binance Chain. But in generally speaking, everything else is in Mega. So yes, you would buy Mega. That's the demand side, right? So the
Mhm.
more people that enter the game, the more demand on Mega. Every action inside of the game requires Mega. That is the
Mhm.
utility of the coin. And then you can either sell materials in its native coin, being again Ethereum, Tron, and Binance, or you can choose to sell in Mega to again funnel it or loop it back into the game, right? So kind of an interesting many loops to and utility. I love that question on utility, right? So you see all these games, and everybody, in all of these chats is, "What's the utility? What's the utility?" Like I said, this coin controls absolutely everything inside of the game. You can even stake inside of the game to produce more perks or produce materials faster. You There's a transportation system that requires Mega to move around the game in express delivery. Mega is used to, so each of these buildings, there's even a new building type, which is a custom building. We haven't gotten too much into the builder. It's still very in
Mhm.
its infancy, but there's units. So each building can then be subdivided into mini blocks where that avatar will eventually have furniture and all of that. Very much in its infancy, but that's kind of where the game is headed. Um, and into that, further pressing that express delivery demo into reality. But uh, back to that utility statement, I see so many games out there. What is the utility of the token? And
The
and
way I
these
would
guys,
put it is the way I would put it is basically, I mean, it's Mega is what it is a token that a couple like that is achieving what a bunch of tokens would like to achieve, and that's being a currency, an actual currency in some kind of world. I mean, here in this in this instance, it would be in a game world, but still, like the utility comes from inside of the game, right?
that's 100% accurate. A great way. I don't know that I want to jump on the currency word, but it is the crypto. Yeah, I guess cryptocurrency that produces all actions inside of the game. So if you think the game is going to do well, the Mega is a great place to you know throw some ideas towards. Um, and if you want to earn, I mean, going back to the initial uh, chat with Badger, I mean, some of these buildings actually create, or not create. I'm sorry, they don't create. They earn Mega, right, from these pools that are created from every in-game transaction. The Mega cryptocurrency has a finite, I want to say 22 million finite. No more currency will be made. So very interesting way that a game can earn money from these pools.
Mhm. I have a question here from Ed Hatter. It seems like he wants to switch jobs and quit at the Pillars because he's asking, if someone dedicated their full time to the game and its process, how long would it take to get to a meaningful daily return?
I would say I'm already there. So great question. You can spend as much or as little time you want. So, collections. I've got I want to say over 30 else level 7. So I'm collecting between 20 and 30 buildings a day. I'm one of the larger players in the game. That aspect of my day takes maybe 10 minutes a day. What sucks you into the game is strategizing, right? So, again,
Mm,
I'm one of those spreadsheet types, analytical types, somebody that's looking at all the graphs and trying to figure out, just like everybody else in cryptocurrency, trying to figure out what's going to happen, right? And you can earn, you could buy a plot and sell it if you buy a plot at an initial opening or similar to a mint. You can double your money within a few minutes. Um, if you are working towards it to get a meaningful return, um, I go back to what is a meaningful return to each person. I think that is a different number for every single person out there. So very important to set that goal and that standard up front. Um, Not going to get into the actual earnings, but it's fairly significant. It does take a sizable investment, but uh, yes, they can be very significant.
But as far as play to
um,
earn goes, I mean, if you played for a couple hours, you'd earn a couple dozen mega, maybe, depending on which world
Uh,
you're in, how quick you're able to get around, all that stuff. I mean, at this point with Mega at 11 cents, it's not viable to have this be your full-time job. When Mega gets to $1.50, something like that, then you're talking about some decent money where my daughter is going to think twice about going outside.
that's a great point. You're bringing up the express delivery portion. Yes, it's at a 10 cent, 12 cent coin. You might earn $5, $6 an hour, something like that, depending on how fast and how smart, efficiently you can move around the game. Over on the strategy side, depending on again the supply demand and what's happening inside of the game, I mean it's not unheard of to earn in the 1,000 to 1,500 mega a month. um, that's definitely doable. And this thing
mhm.
again, the economics change back to a fiat type currency, as Mega rises and falls, right? Just like with any other cryptocurrency.
Mhm. Um, but why, for example, was Mega never a stable currency? Is there any reason to it why it gets volatile? Because I mean, not saying that something like the dollar isn't volatile. Obviously, it is. But why didn't go for, like, let's say, something that is pegged to the dollar?
I don't really have a good answer for that. I would probably push that over to the dev channel or the
Mhm.
developers for that. From a player aspect, I wouldn't have too much visibility on that.
Mhm. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. Um, Now that this is also something that I wanted to ask earlier, but now that you say player aspect, you remembered me, you reminded me. Um, do you think MegaWorld is the target audience of MegaWorld? Is it more like people that are actually gamers, or is it people that are investors? And what do you think is MegaWorld doing to appeal to both sides of the coin?
Man, what an awesome question. I can tell you did
That's
your
from Mad
homework out
Hatter.
there.
I apologize.
No, that
I
is
have
an
to. I
awesome
have to.
question. And it's something that we discuss in our main chat over there in Mega World all the time. So initially, so strategy was very much for the investor spreadsheet type of person, right? Somebody that was very analytical, etc. I would say there's a lot less of those people than there are of the TikTok generation, right? I would
Mhm,
say that that appeal is very, very, very specific. So you have to find somebody that's A, analytical, B, likes games, C, understands SimCity, and also understands crypto and all of those things, right? So a very, very specific audience, and maybe one of the reasons why it didn't just go meteoric, right? Um,
mhm,
since then, they have developed in probably the last year. We're barely launching, I'm sorry, the dev team is barely launching the alpha of the express delivery portion. Where I see that in the future is you're catering to folks that are new to crypto, right? folks that are social types, right? So you want to show off, and I'm just speaking from a vision standpoint, nothing based in what's out there, but I could see this as I remember a few years ago everybody was buying these apes and NFTs, and I'm just throwing them out there, but what were they more than a profile picture or a piece of artwork, however you want to label it? And I may be pigeonholing myself here, but there's just that express. So imagine walking around in an ecosystem and having that Rolex on your avatar, having maybe even a concert venue, right? So you're able to go to one of these custom type buildings, and there's actual events where you could see concerts. I could see this developing into if you get enough players in the game running around, where advertising becomes a thing, right? You could have
That's an interesting thing that you just said. It's like, I mean, you have all these metaverses. I mean, also from like I think Bored Ape Yacht Club has their metaverse now, and I believe also a bunch of other projects. But I mean, for example, these like a in-game Rolex or like a cool car in the game. How much is it actually worth if the world isn't meaningful, right? It's the same reason why, for example, people love to buy skins in a game like Fortnite, for example,
you're
because
hitting it.
it's like so that's how I'm viewing it. So that's basically, I would assume also your mission goal to create a meaningful world, and then expand on that world. Is that correct?
So absolutely. So what you're seeing in MegaWorld, I don't by any means think that it is the most fun thing to run around and do these missions. It is very, very much in just like that portion of the game is very much in a demo mode. Like, hey, can you run around in the building? Yes, check. And you earn mega. Input the mega into strategy and output the mega in express delivery mode. Are all of these things functioning? How many folks can we put into a game at once, into a map at once? It's very much in its infancy. Where I could see this thing going again is appealing to that younger generation, a social, almost like a Roblox type of metaverse environment inside of this world that has been created all the way down to the brick of each building. So the game is a long way from that portion, but I could very much see that ecosystem being built on this framework that you see here.
Interesting.
And the foundation's really there. So like all this time that they've been spending on strategy mode and the builder in this express delivery mode, like they've been laying a foundation that's ready to be unleashed. Like it's finally ready to be shown to everybody. So it's really exciting.
I mean, I can. But you already answered Matt Hatter's question in the community questions channel, Badger. Matt Hatter asked, "So, if you are to be candid, what is MegaWorld missing?" And I want to expand on that. Also, what would you like to see in MegaWorld, from a maybe also from a gaming aspect? And both of you are not allowed to say marketing. Badger, you go first.
I would like to see the devs take a more active role. Maybe be more, not docs, but be more visible. And out front of the project that they've built and the project that so many of us love to play. And just own it. Like they built something awesome. Like come out and show everybody.
You just said marketing there, Badger. Just be honest. That sounds just like marketing to me, in the most roundabout way, right?
Oh shit!
I gave him a pass because he's a Pillars
I don't get a
partner,
pass.
so.
I don't get a pass. No, Eric, you go, and then I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna go again. I don't get a pass. Hold on.
Okay, Eric, what you got for me? And the devs are not listening, so It's just between you and I.
No, absolutely, guys. I'm just putting you on the hot seat there, Badger. No, what I'd really like to see is third-party integration, right? So again, the frame. Badger said it amazing. The framework is already there. We have an amazing in-game ecosystem. I would love to see to continue to see the devs, build that frame, and again, like Roblox, have mini games built all over the map where the dev team isn't responsible for pushing each one of these little mini games. So now you have an ecosystem of developers building games inside of each one of these custom buildings that are again built by players, built by hard-earned cryptocurrency. And that would be my number one. And I can see a pathway towards that. And again, just continue to develop. They have a rich history over the last 5 years of developing 5 to 6 major milestones every year, which is roadmapped on their website. Love seeing that. Contrary to a lot of these metaverses that are starting, this roadmap has been put on their website for display, and the most important part is actually completing those milestones. So I talk so much, I'm sorry. But
no, all good. It's your guys' stage here.
No, the ecosystem and having that third-party development, if I can summarize, that would be absolutely outstanding.
Before I let you talk, Badger, Matt Hatter just said something fantastic, and I want to point that out. He said everything can fall under marketing. Could it be missing the storytelling aspect of what makes this thing exciting? Tell the right story, and you will get people interested very fast. What are your thoughts, guys?
As unfortunately, I have to say he's right.
I missed that, Badger. What'd you say? I missed it. I'm sorry.
I said, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say Hatter's right.
As far as the story,
as far as the storytelling aspect, like I think there's a lot. It's very disjointed right now. So they're trying to bring these 3 game modes together, and there's not a cohesive story. And that I would agree with that.
And I would. Am I running?
Okay, you're free to disagree with Badger here.
No,
Eric.
I agree and disagree. One thing they are awesome at is developing a game. On the flip side, they are not so good about telling the story of the game, and that boils down to marketing. I think there is going to be a large push here. I think we are pre that big push out into the real world. I think for the first time we are. The funding is in place. Everything is pushing in the right direction. They have lots of good, reading material to get the backstory. Very good white paper, very robust, and you can see the entire history on on their Discord, and everything's published there. But I'd like to see that big marketing push. Decentraland was everywhere, right? I'd like to be able to, get on Snapchat and see, MegaWorld. I'd love to get onto Google and it be, popping up. I'd like to see it in everybody's feeds out there. And I think you could see some amazing things. At the same time, I think, how did Roblox get started? How does Gala Games? How does Decentraland? How did Sandbox get out there? That type of marketing push is what it's going to take to push this game. Plus, coming onto the pillars and talking about it here. You guys have an awesome audience here. 88 folks live in chat right now, and that's 88 people that MegaWorld has been introduced to. Do this 100 more times, and then that's not even to mention all of the playbacks that are here on Pillars. So it's going to take folks like myself, folks like Badger, to get that grassroots effort in conjunction with a good marketing push from the developer team.
I think personally, just looking at the game and having read through the documentation, personally, I think a big factor could be also accessibility in a way to the game. In terms of, I mean, of course, on number one, of course, platform accessibility. Um, I mean, everyone that is, I would say, most of people that are, okay, maybe that's incorrect, but a desktop browser, like an internet browser, most of people have access to it. If you have a computer, you definitely have a browser. I think, but like, how does it look, for example, in terms of mobile gaming? Because a lot of people that are investing in crypto are actually doing everything, a lot of it from their phone. Like, do you think there's anything to it? I mean, I'm thinking when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking about something also like, let's say, what is it called? Clash of Clans, right? Where you're building a city, you're getting resources so you can upgrade your city. This is would be something theoretically that's, especially the strategy game, would be perfect for mobile. So while I'm sitting at the bus station, upgrading a couple of my stuff, claiming a bunch of my factories, and then moving on.
You're hitting it right on the money. Mobile is on the a mobile version, and a standalone desktop version are both in the roadmap for 2024. All visible on the MegaWorld.io, all the way down at the bottom of the page. 100% agree that a mobile touch point, as that Candy Crush or that Clash of Clans while you're sitting at the bus stop, that is exactly what this game needs, and the dev team very much listens to the community, and that is on the roadmap. So a great point you bring up there. If you don't mind, I'd like to flip over a question over to you, David and Mad Hatter, whoever.
Sure.
Badger brought this to the Pillars community. What attracted you to the game? I mean, especially from, I always ask this question to the outside looking in. How do you view the game? How do you, just from the documentation, from seeing videos, etc. What are your views without having dived in? What does it look like from the outside to the community? And go ahead.
Yeah, while I wait also for Mad Hatter to write it up, I'm gonna go first. But from my perspective, I think I was first of all intrigued by the fact that it's already a game that has been going for a quite substantial amount of time. I mean, 6 years is definitely not a short time, right? Then I think kind of looking into it and reading into it, the strategy aspect to it, that you actually can strategize in different kind of ways, was quite interesting to me. That can basically decide your path of entrepreneurship in a way, right? You can, as I said, you can just go for real estate mogul in a way. Or you just go into the brick production, or just into the sand production, or or you just go into the builder mode, for example. I thought that was an interesting approach to it. As I already mentioned a couple of times, I think the information is incredibly dense. Which is, on the one hand, of course, a good thing, because there's a lot stuff to the game. But as someone that has is confronted with a lot of projects, this isn't too bad for us, for Mad Hatter and I. But I think for some people it might be a bit intimidating, right? To look at all the documentation. Where do I even start? In a way, I mean, of course, you got your FAQs and probably also a bunch of helpful people. But that was basically my first observation about it. Like, it's interesting that there's a lot to the game, and not just a. I mean, usually the way play to earn is working is either you have your wager type games, or you have your what are you saying? These you're getting some tokens from the game platform itself, and then you maybe have creating some kind of inflation on the token. People are dumping the token. So this was quite interesting to see that you have a token that actually flows through the ecosystem. This was interesting, but I
I
think
love
the
that you said that.
information was a bit too dense.
No, I love that you said that. It is all the token there's a finite amount of coins here. It's not coins. I mean, you obviously can speculate on the price of Mega, just like any other cryptocurrency. But the loops that are created, every action basically redistributes that coin. So let's say you have a building costs 200 Mega to construct. A portion of that goes to the dev team, a portion of it goes to the local district and the district owner, the local fund, the global fund. And, um, that's how this game is self-sustaining, and everything loops back. The coin just continues to loop back into the game, right? And I guess one thing you also brought up was, how do you view it's been around for 5 years. Do you look at that as a pro or a con? Back to you, David.
I think both of it a bit in a way, right? I mean, on the one hand, it's like they have survived for that amount of time, which is crazy in inside of crypto if you think about it, right? Like 6 years. I mean, times 10 is basically in crypto years. That's
Like
6 decades.
right?
Yeah. So we're
That's
looking
like
at
cat
you
years.
like you guys are dinosaurs in this game already. So it's like you when you started, you were still in the industrial revolution inside of MegaWorld, and now you get we reached the current times. Yeah, I mean, so on positive on that aspect, it's like okay, there has to be something to it that they have been able to go on for so long. But then also, of course, it's like, why haven't I heard of it? Like I have been in crypto, I would say around that time, maybe 5 years or something. And this since Badger brought it up, this was the first time that I heard about it. Not saying that
Biggest game
you
you've
have
never
to
heard
know
of.
every project. Yeah, it's not saying that I have to know every project, right? That was surprising to me. It's like not that not sure that I have seen some influencer cover it or some other person randomly mention it at some point. That was my um, that's my opinion on the age of it.
No, I really like seeing it from the outside. I would agree. A big piece of that is do what you say when you say you're going to do it, and I see that in the roadmap that MCP has or MegaWorld has established, and it goes to show that it's not a one hit wonder that is gonna. I've been in projects that have promised the moon in these roadmaps and haven't even delivered the first item on their roadmap. So I really, really like seeing that, and I can see that going back to our previous conversation on the looping of the Mega, this economy has lasted that long. Those are very big positives. But like we said, it's the biggest game nobody has ever heard of. And that's why we're here. That's why we're chatting and spreading that word out.
Before I'm starting to wind it out down, because I had you guys on for an hour now, I'd like to the question that you have asked me now. I would like to ask the community, because the community has been super active today. I just want to ask you guys, what is something? I mean, if you know the game and have been playing the game already from the MegaWorld community, what is your favorite thing about MegaWorld, and what is something that you would like to see changed? And from our community, that's where this was the first time learning about MegaWorld. What are your first impressions about MegaWorld? So please, this goes out to the community, to everyone that is listening right now. In the meantime, I want to ask Badger, because I mean I haven't spoken to you in a long time, I believe, right? Are you still here?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
what is your in this game? What is your, so just as a couple, like a final question to wind it down? What is your strategy to play this, and what do you think is the most fun to you in this game?
So I guess my strategy in the game was to be vertically integrated and not dependent on anybody else for my resources or materials. For the most part, I've
Hmm.
been able to do that. But one of the other aspects of the game that's really cool is like building partnerships and alliances, and you supply me with X and I'll supply you with Y and all that kind of stuff. So that's another aspect to the game that's really cool.
Awesome. And you, Eric, I had this question. I mean, how long have you been around? And just for me, so I have an understanding if the question is gonna hit with you or not.
I guess I'm missing the question. How long have I been in the game? Is that the question?
Yeah, like how, of the 6 years, how long have you been? I mean, not.
Since the very first day, I saw it
Oh.
actually started out with GPU ETH mining and
Hmm.
used the Ethereum from old GPU. Actually, it was Vosk that got me going on GPU mining. Watched his videos on with Tails and everybody over there. That's exactly where I started, and I used all the ETH from GPU mining to, and then this is in the $150, $200 ETH days of 2018 is where I started.
Awesome. So, and my question here is, since you have been around for all the 6 years now, and you MegaWorld has created this own economy. You have your people that are possibly also whales in certain assets. Was there ever a situation where I wouldn't say people have exploited the game itself, but were there people that maybe tried to, for example, um, create some inflation? Maybe they try to flood some, let's say, some
Happens on a
electricity or
daily
some.
basis.
Yeah.
Happens on a daily basis. From you have the choice of buying the floor, right? You can buy up the floor.
Mhm.
I mean, it is no different than any sweep of NFT asset out there on OpenSea, right? You could do the exact
Yeah.
same thing inside of the game, but what's so amazing about it is very decentralized. So, all right, you swept the floor. Now you have a lot of players that are now replenishing that floor, right? So it is very much a decentralized economy. So it in the more robust portions, in the more not robust, but uh, older economies of like Ethereum, there's a lot of material out there. Um, so you know, uh, I don't know if that does that answer your question a little bit.
Yeah, no. I was just wondering. I mean, after 6 years, you probably got like some people that are probably monopolizing together and saying like, hey, you know what? Let's scoop up every brick that's out there and let's offer our horrendous bricks at a horrendous price because people need it. And I mean, people come together and just, I mean, in every game, right? They start to do some shenanigans. I mean, for the better and the worse. I think, but that's, to me, that's a part of the game, of course, as well, in a way, right? Um, but do you have like also, is there also some kind of governance system that controls some kind of behavior, or is it like fully decentralized and literally everyone can do whatever they want?
I would say within very
The realm of
decentralized. I wouldn't say
possibilities.
there's not necessarily a governance token. There is a very robust community over there, and um, is there folks trying to control markets? Absolutely. That's part of the game, right? You're trying to be Standard Oil in this game, right? And control your market, but with that decentralization being the force that is pushing in the opposite direction. And those are the invisible forces. I know Max is going to get a kick out of that. Very, very, good, very, very smart player in the game. But there's a lot of invisible forces with that supply chain, and those equal and opposite forces push against the ideas that you may have as an individual. And I think that's the beauty and the decentralization of the game.
Awesome. That's a nice statement to end it on here. Had you guys for 1 hour now. Thank you, Eric, for coming today, and also again, nice to have met you and have spent the last hour with you talking about this game. And also, of course, thank you to Badger to have introduced us that game. I would say, I mean, looking at the audience and how they enjoyed it, would be nice to have you guys back on. Maybe also next time, even someone from the team. Who knows? As Badger said, he would love to see that. In the meantime, I also want to say we have our giveaway will be starting soon, $100 giveaway, and the stipulation was if we get over 50 listeners, it's going to be $100. So I will start that once I'm off the stage. And I will give Badger the last word here. And I'll again say thank you to the audience, and thank you to you, Eric.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Eric, for coming in and sharing our game with everybody. I really appreciate it. Thanks, David, for hosting us. Just give it a shot. It's fun. So that's really all I got.
I guess I can't resist. I love talking. So
You may.
just thank you again, David. Thank you again, Matt Hatter and the Pillars community. Thank you. I mean, just an impressive audience. I think we peaked out at around 95. Really happy to see that. Just a quick call to action. Join us over there in MegaWorld. We'll throw up the Discord over there if you guys don't mind. On the Pillars side, take a peek at it. Lordy, there's so many things I've seen groups. I mean, there's people that have invested in the Mega Coin from a almost like a mutual fund type portfolio. There's I mean, the sky is the limit of what there is to do out there. So my call to action is come take a look at our community and look at what Mega could do for you and go from there.
Awesome. Thank you, guys, and hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Take care.